Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. The women you choose reflect you. The women you choose reflect you. And I'm doing something similar on the women's channel, right? And it was inspired by this was inspired by a young lady that follows me on Instagram. Like, follow me on Instagram, and especially if you want to contact me or something, it's always the Instagram like direct messages are easy to check because even if you go through my contact information on that I have in the description box, I'll get to it at some point. I don't always check. I'm slow about checking my email, but you get me on Instagram. I check my Instagram several times because I stay on it a lot, for research purposes. Yeah, that sounds good. Research purposes, right? Anyway, the young lady, you go girl, she had said, wanted me to do something on this quote, like choose your man or woman wisely. They represent you, right? And so I'm doing something on the women's channel about that, right? But I wanted to do something on the men's channel about that as well, right? Because, a lot of guys got to ask yourself one thing. A lot of guys will complain about the women they deal with. They'll say, oh, these women I keep running into. And it's usually like women that you dealing in a relationship. They're always playing me. They're always crazy. Whatever personality trait, but ultimately, you choosing them. Now, let me be clear on what I mean when I say you're choosing them. Of course, I always say women choose the men, but the fact of the matter is, they might choose you, but you have to choose them back. Women just make the initial choice. Right? In most cases, they make them, and they do it. I've always talked about how they choose. They send you choosing signals and all of that. But then it's up to you to whether or not you're going to deal with them. Now, if you constantly getting ratchet ass women, or women who cheating, or women who might be just going for your money, that's on you, dog. Like dudes will say, all these women are bad. And, that's honestly their experience. But the reality is you haven't dealt with all 4 billion women in the world. Even if you talk to other dudes who've had similar experience, y'all still only dealt with a portion of women. Even if you one of those dudes done dealt with thousands of women, that's still a drop in the bucket. And the only thing any woman's going to have in common, only thing those women got in common, only thing, it's not their personality traits, not how they look, their body builds, nothing. The only thing they got in common is you. So if you constantly running into crazy women or women trying to get your money or unattractive women or women who, you get with them, they lousy in bed, or women constantly cheating on you, well, there's something in you. That's on you, man. Seriously, I'm just being real with it. I'm going to tell you what, and especially the men get it. Especially the men got to understand that, man. You got to take responsibility for that. If you constantly running into something, you know what? Because honestly, I haven't ran into that many gold diggers. I haven't. Because if a woman, most women, first of all, most women don't think I have anything because I'm kind of low key about my shit, right? So I don't run into them. But if I were to choose to deal with them and the woman's always trying to get money, I got to say, well, wait a minute. This woman doing all that, that's on me. Like, as men especially, you got to take accountability. That woman, if a woman choose you or even show some interest, she come hard, she ain't holding a gun to your head. Especially a man, she ain't bigger than you. And I did a video on that. A woman can't control you unless you allow it. She can't force it. If you got discipline and stuff. But even with all of that, if you choosing a certain type, it's like boom, right? And sometimes, I'm going to tell you what, here's a secret. And this is something with me. I ain't going to act like I'm perfect out here. I know what I know because of mistakes. Like when I was choosing a certain type of woman, I was like, wait a minute, hold up. I started looking at them. I said, all right, I'm seeing all of this, and this is the common denominator I'm seeing in a type of woman. And this is something I've gone through recently. It's like, well, wait a minute. All right, what is it in me that attracts that woman? And it's not always a bad thing, because one thing about me, if you talk about the house of the man. I've talked about that. I talked about the 4 pillars of the house of the man. You know, the warrior, the ego, the hunter, and the healer. I got a strong healer. So sometimes I get a lot of damaged women, or a woman who needs me to fix something that some other man did, right? But then that's a reflection of the healer in me. Like, what they reflecting ain't always bad. Now, sometimes it can be bad, right? Like, if you constantly running into women who are trying to control you, right? If you constantly running into that, the thing you gotta ask yourself, what is it about you that these women think they can do that? Like, I don't hardly run in, like, women who are controlling. I've had women who knew they had that in their personality, tell me straight up, he said, Rom, I couldn't mess with you. I can't control you. I mean, they've told me that, you know, or they'll come up with some reason why they wouldn't want to mess with me. They'll say something. Like, one of my favorites is this woman who called me, she couldn't mess with me because she said I was a pretty boy, right? And I was like, wow. But the thing was, she had a controlling personality. All right, she was cool as a friend. You kept her as a friend, but I couldn't be in a relationship with her. She picked up on that. But if you that type who always get that controlling type of woman, what is it about you? Or you get an argumentative woman, right? Always got an argument. What is it about you? Like, for instance, you get a woman who's always rebellious, right? It might be something in you that needs to, like, step up. Like, here's a common thing, right? You get some women, they actually want a guy to put them in check, right? And you keep coming across that type of woman. But that's a reflection of your need to really maybe stand up and maybe say something, right? You know, and it could get deep. It can get deep. And a woman also reflects you and the type that you deal with. You know, a woman needs to represent you, right? And I've talked about that as far as like business and everything. Like, you get upper echelon businessmen and they checking you out according to the woman you with. So if you like, you know, you go into some big business meeting or some social event and you got some tacky ass woman, they gonna be like, I don't know. And that's very important. That's very important. Think about where you at and who's representing. Like, I'm gonna tell you what. I don't really understand the guys always complaining about single moms or ratchet women or all of that. I really don't get it. I'm like, just leave them alone. And I know it. How often do I really go in on certain type of women? Like, go in on a certain type of women, because I don't encounter them enough. Because it's not a reflection of me. Or if you're getting low self-esteem women or something, how does that reflect you? It could be good or bad. Like I said, it might be something in you that could, like, heal them of it. So that's why they finding their way to you, which is ultimately what they do. But it's always a reflection. It's always something. It's something. It's something. And then the second part, you know, you got to think, all right, does this woman represent me? Because, you know, some of y'all might be on some save a hoe thing, right? Or the woman might be easy or something. You know, something. And, you know, I've asked some guys, they be complaining about the woman. I'm like, well, why are you with her? It had to be something in you that liked whatever she's doing fucked up. There's something in you that liked that. And you cool with it. Because I can't tolerate it. Using the control thing again. And if there's some women out there, if they could probably do a video or something. They tried to holler at Rom and they showed some control thing. And I was like, I cut them off quick. And a lot of them, I might not even bother giving an explanation. But anytime, the second I sense that, I'm like, because that's not me. All right. So always understand that when you with a woman, or you dealing with women, or you dealing with a group of them, I mean, the common denominator is you. So if you want to stop what you're doing, maybe you stop, look in the mirror and say, okay, what I need to change. And like I said, I haven't been perfect with this. That's something I had to learn the hard way. When I was getting a certain type of woman, I ain't going to get into it, the type it was, I was just like, wait a minute. All right, what is it about me? Then I was like, oh, okay. I got to deal with this. That's why I'm getting this. All right? So understand that. So anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.